One thing I've heard over and over again is that people today give up too easily in relationships and marriage. Maybe you have heard it too. People say that previous generations stayed together. They worked through difficulties. They fought for their marriages. They were more committed than people today. And there is truth in that. But there is another truth that often gets left out of the conversation. Many people from previous generation were not happy. Many stayed because of shame. Many stayed because they were afraid of being judged. Many stayed because they felt trapped. Many stayed because living wasn't considered as an option. So when someone says that people in the past stayed longer in relationship, they're right. But when someone implies that staying longer means that the relationship was healthy, loving, or fulfilling, that's not necessarily true. And then we have the opposite message today. Today we hear things like, if they upset you, leave. If they don't meet your standards, leave. Girl, someone will meet you, will make you feel, you know those drills. If it gets hard, maybe that's not your person. And when I say that, maybe I'm exaggerating, but some of those statements are true today, are said today. And why there are situations where leaving is absolutely the right decision, sometimes we have become so focused on avoiding pain that we have forgotten that relationship require growth. So now we have two competing stories. One says stay no matter what, and the other says leave as soon as it becomes difficult. Neither one feels complete because real life is more complicated than that. Real relationships are more complicated than that. The truth is that some people leave relationships they should have worked on, and some people stay in relationships they should have left. Both realities exist, which means the real question is not whether people should stay longer, and it's not whether people should leave sooner. The real question is, why are we making these decisions in the first place? What are we building our relationships on? What are we expecting the relationship to provide to us? Do we even understand what relationships are for? Because when I look around, I don't think the biggest problem is commitment, and I don't think the biggest problem is independence. I think one of the biggest problem is that many of us enter relationships without understanding ourselves, without understanding the other person, without understanding life, like what is required when you get inside there. What if the conversation is not really about staying or living? What if it's about awareness? Awareness of what relationships actually require. Awareness of the stories we have inherited about love. Awareness of the expectations we are placing on another human being. Before we can choose another person, we need to understand ourselves. Before we can experience love deeply, we need to understand what love actually is. And before we can navigate the storms that inevitably will come, we need to learn how to master ourselves within them, within the storm, because they will come. These are the conversations I want to explore in this series I'm starting. Not from the perspective of who is right and who is wrong. Not from the perspective of men versus women, no. Not from the perspective of old generation versus new generations, but from the perspective of truth and reality. Because there is a difference between those two. The truth is this, but the reality is something else. The goal is to build relationship consciously, and that's what this series is about. Welcome to Soul Step, and we are starting this series which is called Truth and Reality. And there will be many sections in this series, but we're starting with relationships. Thank you for watching, and I'm Crystal.